Hi and welcome back. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐿𝐴𝐿 TV live from Sydney. This is the stocks in action. Let's have a look at the ASX200 and the ASX listed stocks that are trending today. Yesterday, the benchmark index closed flat at 7,094.9 with a mere 2.4 points gain after trading in a tight range. The S&P ASX 200 is up today, gaining 70.30 points or 0.99%. The top performing stocks in this index are Ingham's Group, which is up 6.37%, and South32, up 5.28%. Over the last 5 days, the index has gained 1.92% and is currently 0.11% off its 52-week high. 8 of 11 sectors are higher, along with the S&P ASX 200 index. Materials is the best performing sector, gaining 1.32% and 0.82% for the last 5 days. On that note, let's quickly glance through some major market movements globally. US stock markets saw significant gains on Thursday, May 27th, after the economic data lifted investors' spirits, with the S&P 500 gaining back over 80% of its losses since March this year. The S&P 500 was up 0.12% to 4,200.88. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.41% as well. And the Nasdaq Composite Index closed flat at 13,736.28. The 30-year Treasury bond yields were up 1.12% to 2.285. On Thursday, the benchmark 10-year Treasury yield rose for the second day, gaining 1.5% to 1.584% on Wednesday. The selling in Treasury notes was bolstered by New York Times report saying President Joe Biden will announce a massive $6 trillion budget for 2022 on Friday. US dollar futures index remained flat at $90 US. The dollar index was down 0.1% for the day, holding on to most of a 0.4% gain on Wednesday. The dollar index traded in a tight range on Thursday as market participants are still waiting for an upcoming inflation report closely watched by US Fed. The Australian dollar has been moving in a tight range for the last few days, while its New Zealand counterpart held gains made on the promise of higher interest rates by the central bank as early as next year. The Australian dollar was last traded at 0.7743 cents on Thursday, while the New Zealand dollar was up by 0.2% to 0.7292. And onto cryptocurrencies, the volatility is reverting back to normal after an action-packed week. Bitcoin is trading flat at 39,032 US, while its counterpart Ethereum was down 3.65% and Dogecoin was down 4.1%. Gold futures were down 0.26%, and silver slightly increased 0.25% to 27,000.948 an ounce, while copper was up 3.06%. Spot gold fell 0.24% and having slipped back below the key psychological $1,900 US mark. And now moving on to some important updates on crude oil. Brent crude oil futures for August delivery traded at 96.41 US per barrel, up 2.5%, and WTI crude oil futures for July delivery traded 0.49% as well. On Thursday, crude oil prices rose around 1% as strong US economic data negated investors' concerns about the potential for a rise in Iranian crude supplies. New claims for unemployment benefits were dropped more than the expectations last week, as per the data released by the US Labor Department. The US economy has gained strong momentum, depicting that the business spending on equipment has accelerated in the last month. The price rise was partially offset by the concerns of supply gluts from the potential reviving US-Iran nuclear deal that will waive off sanctions from Iran to supply extra crude oil into the market. The coronavirus infection concern of India, the third largest oil consumer of the world, is also weighing on oil prices. But before I share more of the latest market updates, it's time for a small break. 𝐾𝐤𝐴 TV will take you to the heart of the Australian equity market. We'll bring you breakthrough stories that highlight volatility, as well as tailwinds building across the length and breadth of markets. Whether space travel will gain momentum, while economies may gradually open amid vaccine rollouts, our experts will share their timely inputs. So join us on this exciting journey of live streaming financial and stock market news. 𝐾𝐤𝐴 TV.
Property by 𝐾𝐤𝐴. Looking for a dream home? Well, that may sound easy, but it isn't. And from looking for a property that is the right fit for you in terms of cost and other factors, to zeroing down on the right mortgage plan, there are various aspects to consider. And for the latest slowdown in the property market, tune in on 𝐾𝐤𝐴 TV with me, Sage. I will give the latest updates on the property market as well as real estate stocks to help you make the right decision. Keep watching Property with 𝐾𝐤𝐴.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐾𝐤𝐴 TV live from Sydney. This is the stocks in action. Let's have a look at some more major news from the ASX listed companies. Healthcare sector, along with the industrial sector and mining, will be dominating the stocks in action session. Let's have a look at the first big piece of news. Jefferies cuts earnings estimate for Australia's Costa Group. Financial research firm Jefferies has cut the earnings estimate and price target on the fruit and vegetable marketer Costa Group Holdings, and has rated the company's stock as hold. The company has stated it expected H1 results to be only marginally ahead of previous comparable period. The brokerage said measured trading update from CGC disappointed as growing conditions improved, that there was an absence of disease and extreme weather events. As per the Refinitiv, the Jefferies has cut the price target for CGC stock to 3.60 Australian from 4.20 and has downgraded the FY21 earnings per share estimate by 32% to 13.30 cents per share. Jefferies added the company likely is affected by additional picking costs, reduced output due to the labour availability, weaker pricing in some categories, and climatic events this year. And now moving on to the next big news, 𝐊𝐴NGCo acquires Eureka F4WD for $4.5 million. 𝐊𝐴NGCo Limited has announced that it has struck an agreement to acquire all of the shares of the registered training organisation Eureka 4WD. The acquisition has taken place for a consideration of $4.5 million and is likely to be complete on the 1st of July. As per the ASX announcement, Eureka is a Perth-based market-leading training organisation focused on providing certified four-wheel drive vehicle training to the industrial, mining and consumer markets. The company also undertakes heavy road vehicle licensing and training. But before I share more of the latest market updates, it's time for another small break. At 𝐾𝐤𝐴 TV, we'll take you to the heart of the Australian equity market. We'll bring you breakthrough stories that highlight volatility, as well as tailwinds building across the length and breadth of markets. Whether space travel will gain momentum, while economies may gradually open amid vaccine rollouts, our experts will share their timely inputs. So join us on this exciting journey of live streaming financial and stock market news. 𝐾𝐤𝐴 TV.
Crypto Talk by 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴. The crypto market has been red hot given the Bitcoin rally since the past year. And now the most famous cryptocurrency has got competitors, Dogecoin and Ethereum. If the crypto market excites you, tune in with me, Sage, to know the latest developments about the existing digital currencies and the new ones that are joining the race. I'll help you understand the opportunities and the risks the crypto market has in store for you. For all the digital currency related developments, continue watching Crypto Talk by 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴 TV live from Sydney. This is the Stocks in Action show. Let's take a look at this ASX listed stock that's in the news today. Alchemy completes Phase 1 drilling at the 𝐶�ₗ Gold Project. Alchemy Resources Limited announced the completion of 27 holes of reserve circulation, or RC, drilling within the 100% owned 𝐶𝐗 Gold Project. Drilling was aimed to infiltrate cover mineralization along the north and south river of Silver Lake Resources Limited. Aldius Mining Centre. The 3,000 metre of RC drilling is completed at the Parmelia Taupo, KZ5 and Warrior prospects. The 𝐶𝐗 Gold Project is located 110 kilometres east of Kalgoorlie. And moving on to the next big news, MMA Offshore enters into subleasing contract for Balham Yard. MMA Offshore Limited has entered into a subleasing contract with a subsidiary of Wasco Energy Limited. The contract is for a substantial portion of its shipyard facility in Batam, Indonesia. Let's take a look at some of the key highlights shared by MMA Offshore Limited. First up, a sublease to Commerce from the 15th of April this year for 3 years. And total rent payable is $6.5 million for the entire period, while MRM is granted Wasco an option to purchase MRM's interest in Batam facility for $15 million US. Option is exercisable up to the 12th of March 2024. The sublease to terminate upon the exercise of the option. Wasco Energy Limited is to pay a fee of $1.5 million US if the option is not exercised. Meanwhile, this ASX listed stock is also in the news. Demican orders 320 kilos of cannabis flower, medicine from Little Green Pharma, for $2.5 million. Little Green Pharma Limited shared that it has received an additional $2.5 million purchase order from Demican for around 2,100 units. The THC cannabis flower medicine. The purchase order is for the delivery during the quarter ending the 31st of December and follows a steady growth volume of quarterly Demican purchase orders. According to the ASX announcement made by LGP, the annualized run rate based on Demican purchase order would be 1,300 kilograms per annum, exceeding the original target of 1,000 kilograms per annum. The last traded price of Little Green Pharma was $0.695 per share on the ASX. Alright then, that is all for now. Stay tuned with 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴 TV for more live market updates. We'll be back with more news on the markets, economy and diverse themes and sectors. Holly Shields signing off.